In this episode, I'm discussing if you should keep your membership open all year round or if you should close it and open it throughout the year to create urgency and exclusivity. This episode breaks it all down for you, including my recommendations. Welcome to the $1 Million Memberships Podcast, where we help female entrepreneurs like yourself start, grow, and scale multiple 6- and 7-figure online memberships with simple, step-by-step strategies that actually work.
Your life is about to get so good.
Let's dive in. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of $1 Million Memberships Podcast. Before we get into it, if you are listening before February 5th, 2026, you still have time to register for my free live membership masterclass, where I am teaching you how to build a sticky AF membership community. I'll be walking you through the number one mistake that's killing your membership engagement, how to stop your members from canceling so you can actually consistently grow your membership and stack your revenue each month, how to get members talking and engaging and posting on their own inside of your community, my top secrets for building a super sticky membership community, and more. The link is the first link in the show notes if you'd like to join us. It is completely free if you join us live. If you can't join us live, or you just want access to this masterclass for life so you can take what you've learned and implement, there is an option to purchase the lifetime replay after you register. Again, this is happening February 5th, 2026, and you can find all the information, including the link to register, in the first link in the show notes. Okay, let's get into the episode. If this is your first time listening, hi, welcome. I am Paige. I help online entrepreneurs start, grow, and scale online memberships from all the way from idea to building out $1 million memberships. On this podcast, I break down really tangible things that you can do today, right away, that you can actually implement inside of your membership, whether you are just starting from scratch or you've had your membership for a few years and you're really trying to grow your membership, scale your membership. And in this episode, we are talking about the difference between evergreen memberships and open and closed memberships. So before we actually get into which one is better, which one you should do, let's just cover our bases first and go over exactly what are the differences between an evergreen membership and an open and closed membership. So an evergreen membership, this is when your membership is always open, so you don't close it. People can find you on social media and join your membership right that day. It's always open. And then obviously the open close membership, this is where your membership, there's a limited time window to get into it. So it's only open a few times a year or however many times a year you decide to open it. When it's not open, people have to join the wait list. They can't just get in anytime. So if they find you on social media and you are in a closed window, they would have to join your wait list and then wait and get in once you open the doors. Now, at a first glance, when I go through these options, you're probably thinking, or most people think, oh, obviously the evergreen always open, that one's the better choice because then people can always come in my membership. I can always sign new members. I can constantly be making money. I'm not losing out on members because doors are closed. But let's actually get into each one of these and dive into each a little bit deeper. So let's go back to the evergreen for a second. This is the one that is always open. Now, the thing with evergreen memberships is, yes, you can always get members inside of your membership at any time. However, there are a couple things you do have to be aware of if you are deciding to go evergreen with your membership. The first thing is that they can be harder to create urgency. So when you have a membership that is always open, people can get in anytime, a lot of the times what ends up happening is people will think, oh, well, I can get into this in a month. And right now I have a lot of stuff going on. I have my sister's wedding. I have to be the bridesmaid. I have to pick out gifts. Like it's such a busy time. I'm not going to prioritize this month. It will be open next month. So I'll go into it that month. Then what ends up happening is the next month rolls around and, oh, it's actually the wedding month. So, oh, it's a little bit too much. Then what ends up happening is they roll into the next month and, oh my gosh, that wedding season was so stressful. It was so time consuming. I just need a break. Then they go into the next month and you see what's happening here. When your membership is always open, people kind of get a little comfy with that and they're not pushing themselves to jump into something when it's always open because there's always going to be a better time. And as you probably know, being in the online space, there's always going to be something that comes up to make it a less than ideal time. And not everybody has that drive to know that, or that self-awareness to know that, and they'll just keep pushing it off. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, when you have an Evergreen membership, you are likely going to have higher cancellation rates. And the reason for this is because people know that your membership is always open. So kind of going back to my first point is, if someone's inside of your membership and then they have a really busy month coming up, instead of staying inside of your membership, they just cancel it because they know they can come into the membership when it's a better time. But now, if somebody has left your membership, that drastically decreases the chances of them coming back into your membership. They've lost the rhythm. They're out of the community. It is no longer a part of their everyday, and they are way more likely now to just never sign back up because they are out of your community. Not to mention, if you have people constantly canceling and then coming back in and then canceling and coming back in whenever works best for them, that is just screwing up your churn rate. That is costing you more money because it costs more money to bring new members in. So Evergreen can get a little bit messy there, simply because people have a little bit more freedom to come back in, leave, that kind of thing. The third thing is that there's way more marketing needed for an Evergreen membership because, again, you are constantly open, so you constantly want to be getting people in there. So this can look like you personally, as the membership founder, having to get on your social media and show up and sell more, constantly be trying to get people in the door, talking about your membership. There's just more marketing needed when you're open all the time. So now I know you're listening to this and you're probably like, oh, okay, she's obviously going to tell me not to do Evergreen. That's not necessarily the case either. And I will get into the nuance there in a second. Let's first hop into the open and close membership and just give you a little overview of what that can look like, some of the positives and some of the not so positives with that one as well. So the open and close membership model, when you are open sometimes throughout the year and then you're closed, and there's actual enrollment windows. So obviously with this one, there are limited time windows to join. So people can't just join anytime. They have to join once your doors are actually open. The reason this is good is because this creates urgency to actually join your membership and a little sense of FOMO as well. When people have a reason to join or have a deadline to join, even if it's not the absolute best time, let's just go back to the wedding example. Let's just say this girl is getting into wedding month. She knows that the membership is going to close, so she's just going to get in so she doesn't lose out on this opportunity and have to wait however many more months until you reopen. So you're creating that urgency for people to actually join and make this membership a part of their daily routine sooner. Open and closed memberships tend to have a little bit higher conversion rates for this reason. You're kind of getting all of those people who are sitting on the edge, wondering if they should go in your membership or wait. You're kind of scooping all those people in at once and getting them to join during your opening windows. Your churn rates end up being a lot lower because, kind of on the opposite of the Evergreen, people aren't just constantly canceling and then coming back in anytime they please because they know you have an open and closed membership. If they cancel and you're not in an open window, they can't just get back in anytime. So that encourages people to stay inside of your membership longer. And when people stay inside of your membership longer, they also create habits around community. They create routines around your community. They actually create a sense of belonging within your community. And this is something that really helps create that sticky community, is when people are staying long term, they're able to form relationships, they're able to form habits around your community, and that kind of just grows and trickles through all the other members inside of your community. So not only does this help your cancellation rates, but it actually also helps your membership create a stickier community because people are staying. Another thing with an open close membership is because you are only opening however many times a year, 1 to 4 times a year is typically what I recommend here, which I'll get into in a little second. But because you're only opening minimal amounts throughout the year, you also then are able to have really focused launch energy. Kind of the opposite of the Evergreen model, you're not constantly, say, on social media, selling your membership. You're not constantly on stories, trying to promote your membership, trying to get people inside. When you launch, you kind of have these launch windows spread out throughout the year. So you're able to really prepare your energy for it and give your all for that short window, because you know if you can give your all for a couple weeks during that open window, then you get a little bit of a reset again. Then you can focus a little bit more on your membership again, on your content or whatever your other focuses are. You're not constantly just trying to get people inside of your membership. So it helps you as the founder have a little bit more of a boundaried and focused launch energy rather than just constantly launch sales outputs. Now, the one maybe not so positive with the open and close, especially if you are just starting your membership, you're just growing your audience, or maybe you're just really trying to grow your authority in your niche, in your space, is that it can feel like you have that feast and famine income, right? If you are open and you get a lot of signups because you're in an open period, but then you close, then you're shutting the doors to income coming in, right? So then it's kind of like, oh shit, I'm not bringing in any money. Then you open the doors again and you get more income, you get more members coming in. That's like that feast phase. And then you shut them and then you're like, okay, I have nothing coming in anymore besides my subscription payments. Now we're back to famine, right? That can be the scary thing. So here's the thing. When I talk to members, especially inside $1 Million Memberships Club, when someone's just starting their new membership and they're trying to figure out how to structure it, how to sell it, most people, when I ask them, are you going to do an evergreen model or an open close model? Most people want to do evergreen because, just like I said, number one, they don't want to lose out on members. And number two, they don't want to lose out on income. Those two kind of go together. So if that's you, if you're kind of thinking, ooh, I also don't want to lose out on members. I understand that I would have to sell all the time with Evergreen, but I don't necessarily want to be losing out on members. If you kind of fall into that camp of you understand the benefits of both, or you understand maybe the negatives of both, but you don't want to lose out on members and income, let me give it to you in this perspective. So here's the truth with this. It can be really hard to sign members without some kind of urgency. This is not to say that you can't have urgency with Evergreen, and we can definitely get into that. But it is as just a very like black and white, without even thinking of any of the nuances that can go into this. It's very hard to sign members if you don't have urgency. So as just like a very black and white truth, open and close pushes tend to bring in more members and more income overall. And here's just like an example of how that can look. Let's just say if you have an evergreen membership and maybe it's pretty standard for you to get 5 new members a month. Okay, we'll just like shoot it low there for a second. You might get 5 new members a month with Evergreen, and maybe you have 20 people interested in your membership, but they're just waiting for a better time. But if you close your membership and then you open your membership, not only do you get those 5 members who would have joined anyways, but you also get those 20 people who were interested but waiting for a better time because they don't want to miss out. Even if the timing isn't 100% perfect, because like, let's obviously face it, it's never going to be 100% perfect. You're still getting those people. So you're getting not only the people who definitely would have joined your membership anyways, but now you're also scooping up that huge group of people who are just on the fence and maybe waiting for a better time. Personally, for most memberships, I recommend doing an open close model. Now, here is where it starts to get a little bit nuanced, where you have to really understand and be able to use discernment between what I'm telling you right now and your actual membership, because I don't actually recommend an open close. I know it sounds like it, but I don't actually recommend an open close membership model for all memberships. So memberships that personally I would not recommend doing an open close model with are memberships that cannot have your members waiting to get in. So for an example, a pregnancy membership. People aren't going to wait 3 months to get into this pregnancy membership when they find out they're pregnant and they need it right then and there. Another example is, say, like a sobriety membership. That's one where when people need it, they really need it. Really use your discernment and really ask yourself, is this actually something people can't wait to have? Or is it just like, I think it would be a nice thing for them to have access to right away? So really try and ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Is this something that people truly just cannot wait? It has to be open 24/7? Or would that just be like a luxury that would be nice for them, but they technically could wait? So here's where we're going to wrap it up, and you can get a real bird's eye view of which one is going to be the best for you. So if you're choosing an evergreen model, how this really looks is you are selling continuously through your content, through social media, any channel that you have to sell. You're constantly talking about it. You're constantly trying to get people in the doors for it. And you also do strategic launches because at the end of the day, even if you have an evergreen membership, you still want to be having strategic launches to create urgency, to push, right? The urgency might not be the doors are closing, you can't get in. It could be bonuses disappearing, price going up, whatever it might be. Okay. So you still, even though you are selling continuously, you also are going to have launches on top of that throughout the year. If you are choosing the open close model, then you are selling 1 to 4 times a year with strategic launches, and then you are closing the doors in between those times. And when you close the doors in between your launches, this is when you're really focusing in on your membership, making it the absolute best it can be, your community, really dialing in your offer. And also just really getting visible, whether that's creating content, putting a heavy focus on content creation, or getting on interviews and podcasts or whatever it might be. You're kind of going back and forth between the two because when you're in your selling phase, you're really in it. Now, both of these options, whether you're doing evergreen or whether you are doing an open close, you should also always have a behind the scenes funnel that is selling your membership for you. Something that you set up once and then you obviously refine it every now and again. But for the most part, you set up once and it's hands off. You don't have to do a single thing. People are coming into that funnel through your content or through however they found you. There's a link for them to get into that funnel, and that is selling your membership. So regardless of if you are doing evergreen or open close, you always want to make sure that you have something kind of in the back end selling for you, especially if you are going from 0 to your first million. You can and you should be selling behind the scenes through automations and really just perfecting one single funnel to do it. So at the end of the day, if you can, I prefer personally an open and close model for memberships just because, again, they tend to have higher conversion rates. If you look at your revenue from a year standpoint, overall, memberships who have the open and close tend to have a higher conversion rate than just the evergreen. However, if you have a membership that needs to be evergreen, there are so many things that you can do to create urgency, to create bonuses. So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, shit, this does not sound good. I have a membership that can't close, but now it's sounding like it's going to be harder for me. If your membership is truly something that needs to be evergreen, then it won't be harder for you because it's something that people won't wait on, right? Do you remember the thing that I said earlier of people will always wait for a better time? If you truly have a membership that people can't wait, then that won't be as relevant for you, okay? So I don't want you to be freaking out here if you're listening to this and thinking that it doesn't sound like it's going to be an easy road for you. If it's truly evergreen, it's going to be okay. And there's things that you can do to create urgency. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that you can do. There's a lot of strategic sales pushes that you can do to create urgency to an evergreen membership. So all that to say, there's a lot more that I can cover here when it comes to creating urgency with an evergreen membership and how to really drive sales to an evergreen membership, and also how to sell all year round if you decide to do an open and close and you don't want to lose out on members and income during those months that your membership is closed. You really want to understand how you can do that plus sell all year round and consistently. Let me know, and I am happy to continue this conversation. Actually, take a screenshot of this episode, share it to your Instagram and tag me at the Membership Muse, and I'll know you want a part 2. Feel free to even put your favorite takeaway from this, or if there's anything that you want me to know, like that you want a part two, you can put that on there too. But if I see this episode and I see that I was tagged in it on your Instagram story, I will know that you want a continuation of this conversation where we can dive a little bit more into the actual urgency and getting people into your membership. And of course, if you are inside $1 Million Memberships Club, you have complete sales guides and launch guides and blueprints and sales planning and all of the things inside of your template vault. And you always have our community for support to really get every single thing personalized to you and your membership. So if you are inside of $1 Million Memberships Club, you have that. Make sure that you post inside the community if you ever need any personal support trying to personalize these strategies to your own personal membership. And if you are not inside of $1 Million Memberships Club and you want to be, so that you can get the support to scale your online membership, you can head to the link in the show notes. If we are closed, just join the waitlist and you'll be the first to know when we reopen. Plus, you'll get some bonuses because I always love to send some bonuses your way if you are on the waitlist. Other than that, that is the end of this episode. I hope that this was helpful for you. And again, if you want a part two, take a screenshot of this, throw it up on your Instagram story, and always feel free to DM me with any questions or any other topics that you want me to cover on the podcast. That is it for now. I appreciate you, and I will see you next week. Bye.